Hey everybody, hope everybody's doing good. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Pleasure. So today I wanted to talk about keybinds. My keybind organization, and kind of go through a little bit of that, my rationale, why I have it set up. Now, first thing I want to say is I am by no means an expert. I've been playing WoW since day one, but there's still so many people who know way more than I do, who have maybe invested a lot more time even, than me in the game, though I've invested a lot of time too. So, everything that I share with you is just strictly my opinion. I'm not saying I'm an expert or I have everything right. It's just, me sharing um, and giving feedback and my strategies. You can take what I do and kind of twist it to what you want. But anyway, let's get into it. So, I'm just trying to go somewhere that is kind of off kilter. I think right here is pretty good. On the mountain. No, because with my luck, I'll fall off. This right here is pretty good. Okay. So first thing is, with my setup, a friend helped me actually set this up last year because I was having like DPS issues. It wasn't anything besides DPS issues. And, um, I just wasn't performing as good as he was, and he was a very good player, but he knew I was too. And he would tell me that, do you use keybinds? And I was like, no, I don't use keybinds. So he kind of got me into that world. And our methodology is the movement keys are simply W and S to go back and forward, and we have our Q and E to strafe. Um, but most of my movement now is done with the mouse. Very rarely do I move with the keyboard anymore, which is something that I always used to do. I used to use my WASD to move around for a long time, and I no longer do. I use my mouse pretty much to do everything. I'll use W also to go forward, but it's usually followed by auto run or numlock auto run. So pertaining to movement, again, and the keybinds for movement, W and S forward backward, QE for strafing, which I don't really strafe much. I mean, in PvP you could. I'm not a big PvP player. So there's that. Next, going to the action bar. So the way I have it set up, action buttons 1 through 5 are 1 through 5. Action button 6 is R. Action button 7, Shift X. Action button 8, Shift S. Action button 9, D, 10, A. Action button 11 is mouse button 5. I don't have a gaming mouse, but it has about 6 buttons on it. So action button 12 is Z. Special action button 1 is the tilde, which is beside the 1. So for like my rogue or my druid, right, special actions would be like going into stealth, going into a shapeshift form is done on the tilde, which again is beside the 1. That's what it's called. So in my multi-action bar, I use the WoW standard interface. Um, we have the bottom left action, Alt 1, Alt 2, Alt 3, Alt 4, X, Alt D, middle mouse, C, Alt W, and then I don't have anything else bound currently. Okay, so now I'm going to explain my methodology behind the keybinds that I have and why I'm utilizing these keybinds. My the keybinds are universal to all characters, as we all know. but a lot of the classes in WoW, it's all about rotation, right? It's about rotation, how you do your rotation. It's about how you process moves or how moves build on top of each other type deal. So my keys 1 through 5 are typically things that on a warrior generate rage, on a rogue generate energy, on a shaman generate maelstrom, right? We want things that are going to help us to generate. Then I have my alt 1 through 4. Those are my reactionary keys, typically um, moves that require rage or moves that may proc off another move or something like that. And that's alt 1, 2, 3, 4. So for example here, uh, charge I put at number 1 because it's just, I use charge a lot. Charge is something that I enjoy. Shield slam, real important for a warrior. Um, it can proc, right, off another move. Now normally that would be reactionary. However, shield slam procs so much that is on a number 2 because to me that is more important than putting it on an alt key. Number 3, thunderclap. Thunderclap is utilized very heavily, especially when AoE pulling. And as you'll see as in my future recordings and how I tank, I'm always AoE pulling. Sometimes I'll pull a whole room, or I'm over ambitious with what I do. 4, shockwave. I put shockwave on number 4. Now, all of my AoE moves, typically I put on Shift X. So anything that's AoE on all my characters will be on Shift X. So again, 1 through 4 is typically things that generate rage. So Thunderclap generates rage, right? Shield Slam generates rage. Shockwave doesn't generate rage, but it feels comfortable for me at 4. So that's where I put it. Now, when I get to the reactionaries or rage spenders, Revenge, Alt 1, and Revenge can become free, right? Your successful dodges and parries have a chance to make your next revenge cost no rage. It's reactionary and it could proc. So when I'm utilizing this setup, sometimes revenge becomes free, or I want to spend rage on it. It's right there. Alt 1, Alt 2, shield block. One of the most crucial moves. Uh, Shield block and ignore pain are the warrior's damage mitigation, major damage mitigation. I need those top and center. So I got Alt 2, Alt 3 for ignore pain, shield block. My demoralizing shout, Alt 4. Another thing that I also put on the top bars in those Alt sections is typically moves that are on cooldowns or have a recharge. I'm putting up here, and most of the time I'm putting those moves that I can standardly spam down here. However, again, with shield block, there is a cooldown, but with as much as it procs and gets um, the free shield slam, excuse me, the shield slam and the free shield slam, that's something that I utilize heavily. It'll be there, and I'll do a little demonstration in a bit just to kind of show um, that. So R, that's one through 4. I don't have anything on 5. I'm not sure why that's there currently. R, my R is always my place for interrupts. Now, one of the things that I like about the setup in my keybind that I have is I really only use four fingers at most. The ring finger, middle finger, pointer finger, and thumb is all I use most of the time. Tab targeting, so I'm always tab targeting between mobs. Um, and then again, four fingers, literally 4 fingers, excuse me, and the pinky for my Shift X to do my AoE. So my middle mouse key I always put as my oh crap move for all of my classes. So like my middle key here is shield wall, reduces all damage I take by 40%, and then I have on Shift S also my last stand, which is another oh crap move. So if I am over ambitious in my pull, I might proc my shield wall and my last stand simultaneously, so that if I'm pulling a whole room, let's say I'm in Scarlet Monastery and I'm pulling an entire wing, which I've done, I'll use those damage mitigation techniques and use some stuns and stuff to try and, avoid damage. And my Okrat move, I bind to that middle key. And on the warrior, I got Shift S. Typically, Shift S is also an AoE, another AoE move. I keep my Shift X and Shift S again to typically AoE moves. My A key is always a heal move. Any type of healing that any class can do. My shaman, who's elemental, I keep his healing surge there. Druid, who might be balanced, I'll keep regrowth there. My warrior, victory rush. Anytime a mob dies, if it procs, I can heal off it. That's my heal. So any type of healing, I bind to A. Any type of interrupt, I bind to R. Shift X, Shift S is typically your AoEs. Your 1 through 5 are typically your generating moves. And then your Alt 1 through Alt 4 or X is typically your spenders. My middle mouse button is again my Okrat moves. And typically anything on that top bar is always going to be spenders or cooldowns. Any finishing moves I always put on Z. So for him, I got execute on Z. Any type big finish with the paladin. That one move where you can slam them with the hammer. When they have a certain amount of health percentage or below it. I'm going and I'm using that move to 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 I use Z for those moves. So Z's typically a finisher. My C is always a taunt. C as in Charlie is a taunt. I keep that in all classes, regardless of if they're a tank spec or not, because sometimes you're in a group, tank's taking a lot of damage, healer might be struggling, might have a novice healer, whatever it is, right? I'm going to sacrifice myself for my team every time if I can help my tank live. So I always have taunt on C. If the class can taunt, it's on C. My Alt D is always anything that could enhance my movement is Alt D. So in this case, it's Heroic Leap. Now I could put Charge there, but I use Charge a lot, right? So I'm not going to. But I mean, Alt D. You see, I just used it, took a big fall and triggered it, procced it, so that I don't take damage. Now my Alt 4, any buffs that I use, I always put on the side because typically your buffs are like 60 minutes, right? There's no need to have it on a toolbar. Why have something on a primary toolbar when you're only using it once an hour? It's off to the side. Anything that I barely use, off to the side. Heroic Throw, don't use it often. Shattering Throw, don't use it often. So I kind of put these off to the side. Intimidating Shout, I don't use it often. Why would I want to fear a bunch of mobs that could possibly run and chain into others? Now, the only times that you'll see me use Intimidating Shout may be if I pull a whole haul, I've used my damage mitigation, healer's still struggling, I might throw an Intimidating Shout down and then bounce out of there with my Heroic Leap to buy me some more time, get healed up, buy some time on some cooldowns, and then go back in. Or trying to like kite, kite the mobs, trying to make them so that they're not really hitting me. Maybe my group might have some slowdowns to help me. So, oops, I think I just messed up my game capture on one of my, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay. So that's kind of how my keybinds work. That's the methodology behind my keybinds. Again, my Alt 1 through Alt 4 is reactionaries, rage spenders, and I'll show another class just so you could see kind of how I have it set up, right? But like, let's use this warrior for an example now. Let's go try and tag a couple mobs. Let me see, what level am I? 50. I'm in current content. So I'm going to kill everything too fast. Let me see, where's his home? Okay, cool. His home's in Aspirant's Reach, so we're going to head there. I don't have a lot of Shadowlands equivalent gear or raid equivalent gear. I just leveled him fresh recently, so he's going to probably take some hits from some of the mobs. I'm not going to go crazy pulling because I don't want to die, especially trying to show you not how to die. Let's see if people aren't farming these mobs here. People like to farm these. A lot of bots too. Okay, I need these plumes. Oh, but it's only one. So again here, shield slam, thunderclap, and look, you see, proc again. Got my now I got ignore pain up and shield block, stunned, shield slam again, shield slam again, shield block, shield slam again, thunderclap, shield block, ignore pain. Look at my health here, barely any damage. So now we've got just healed up again, shield block, thunderclap, shield block, thunderclap, shield block, ignore pain. I'm always keeping up those damage mitigations. Some people build now if for solo I'll use like revenge and stuff. I'm not focused on too much mitigation, right? My job is to kill stuff fast. And normally I'm not gonna quest in prot spec, but it's fine. I'm cool with that. I enjoy actually questing in prot spec because I can pull a whole bunch more. And look, I took no damage, barely any damage. Um, which I like. Victory Rush is up, using it. Shield Slam, Thunderclap, Shield Slam, Revenge. I'll throw up a shield block just to protect myself a little bit. Thunderclap, Shield Block, Shield Slam, Revenge, Finisher, done. You see, it's pretty smooth, it's pretty seamless, and I'm only using a couple fingers for most of this. So let's pull this whole group here, okay? Shield Slam. I'm gonna do Ignore Pain here. I'm gonna reduce all the damage they have at me. Okay, Ignore Pain, stunning them all, Shield Block, and now see, look, there's my AoE coming in, and we just drop one onto the next. Free Revenge, and I'm gonna use Avatar, increases my damage. All the rage I spend, I'll go over my talents later. This is strictly for keybinds, right? So you see here, still barely taking damage. I'll show you my eye level in a second so you can see that my item level is actually really low for Shadowlands as well. I'm a fresh level 50. Item level 56 only, right? They're skinning my stuff, which is fine. So you see, it's really advantageous, this in my opinion, this methodology, just using these keybinds up. Look at them, I mean, and it gets to the point where you do it without thinking, which is where I'm at now, right? Just trying to do damage. And we finished that quest. Even got a quest in, look at that. So my main purpose for this video was strictly to do the keybinds, to talk about the keybinds, to explain my rationale behind my keybinds, why I have my keybind set up this way. And then I'll switch to one more. That's probably going to be a big upgrade for me. Oh yeah, I had a heirloom item level 50. Just got moved to a 110, so that's fantastic. So I'm gonna switch real quick, just so you can see how I have it set up, like on two other characters to again kind of explain that rationale. So we'll go to my shaman, 54. He's in Maldraxxus. So Keybind Setup for him again. R on the interrupt, wind shear, right? Disrupts the target's concentration with a burst of wind, interrupting spell casting, preventing any spell on that school, etc., etc. Middle button, astral shift. Take 40% less damage for 12 seconds. Healing surge is on A. Any situational maelstrom spending, which is earth shock and earthquake. Plus sometimes they can trigger for free with an elemental shaman. Up here, primary casting moves, lightning bolt, lava burst, flame shock, frost shock. Lightning chain, an AoE, right? Shift X, my movement increaser. Alt D, a ghost wolf. On X I have heroism, which is like bloodlust, right? Used to be bloodlust. On D I have purge. I think it's really important to purge on a shaman. Then I have less frequently used moves. I could put my fire elemental or my earth elemental somewhere over here if I wanted to, because I use them more frequently, but it's fine. I only use them like every so often. They're situational. Maybe that earth elemental I could put at the fire, because I use him often. He adds great damage to the shaman. Then I got my little totems. I put my totems kind of in the same area so I know where to look for them. That's where I got them here. Okay, and I got my hex over to the side. My buffs, right? I always say my buffs over to the side because we're only using them every so often. I always put my mounts up here. It's just in the corner there. No need for them to be on a main bar. Why? Why waste that space, right? So we're just going to attack this guy just for fun. So we start off open with a fire, frost, going lava burst, because it'll crit every time as long as there's a flame shock on him. Burst him away. You see, I mean, it's just, and boom, done. It's real efficient, pretty seamless. Let's try another. Frost, flame shock, lava burst. We get another one for free, so there's two. And we got an earth shock in there. Boom, done. Shaman are really strong. Elemental shaman, in my opinion, are very, very strong. Love them. I don't do many AoE pulls with him. They're a little weaker. You can. That's just my opinion. They nuke real quick. There's no need for an AoE pull. I mean, you see, I'm just tearing stuff. No problem. No issue. Do one more and then we'll switch to another class. You can see how I kind of thought through this thought pattern. Again, reactionaries and the alt keys. Oh, he's dead. Okay. Reactionaries are on the alt keys. Interrupt. Now I'll go to my rogue. And I'm going to do tutorials also on individual classes and how I play them. Like I said, I don't go by the book. I do get my talent specs from Icy Veins, so in the future I will cover those and why I chose the talents I chose. I just want to go over the system I set up for the keybinds. So it'll all play together. First comes the keybinds, right? I just started here in Ardenwald. I think this is Ardenwald, right? Yeah, Ardenweald, however you say it. So Alt D is my sprint, increases my movement speed, my tilde, my stealth. My interrupt is on R, kick. Shift X, my fan of knives. My Okrat move is the middle button, vanish, get out of here, right? Mutilate an important spender. I have ambush in number 2 because sometimes ambush can proc. I'm an assassination rogue. Sometimes it can proc. When assassination procs, I want it up quick. I want my finger to hit it as fast as it can. It's there. Got Envenom, Slice and Dice. I put Sepsis up here. It's a Rage Spender. It's part of the Night Fae Covenant ability. Then I got Rupture. For an assassination rogue, you want to keep bleeds and poisons up all the time. So, um, those are they're crucial. For a rogue, I got evasion on C because you really can't taunt on a rogue. Got my blind beside it. Got my shadow meld right over here. My poisons, which are my buffs, right over here. I got my tricks of the trade over here. I never really pull threat, so I don't have it up on a active bar because I don't pull threat. Got my healing on A, right? Always have my healing on A, Crimson Vial. And so, I may die. No, okay. So there's that. I'm just looking for a mob to attack. Okay, right here is one we can try and attack here. Oh, but it's 60. It's going to destroy me. Now let's try. Let's try for fun. Okay. Okay, so we got it. With a good bit of health taken away from us. But you see, it's the same methodology for all of the characters. And it carries through all of them. And that's why I set up my keybinds the way I did. So I'll go through more of a tutorial. My next video is going to be strictly on warrior tanking and how to be like an efficient warrior tank. My focus won't be on, it's not on damage, it's on mitigation and survivability so that you could pull and survive and keep your group moving if you're doing dungeons, which would be the main purpose of a tank, right? Is to when you're with groups, either raiding or dungeon running. So your purpose is to stay alive, not to be number 1 in DPS. So we'll cover that in my next video. That'll be all for this video. Hope you enjoyed the keybinds, the little keybind setup I have. If you have any questions, I'm on Proudmoore. You can see my character. My guild is per my man bun. So feel free to reach out to me. You can do a who per my man bun and come visit me. I'd be happy.